Ms. Beckley steps up to the mic, dropping the bomb that Mr. Allen is the MVP in the making of little Idale Beckley. She's not just throwing shade, she's practically casting a solar eclipse, insisting that Mr. Allen has had a cameo appearance in his daughter's life exactly once, and it's high time he auditioned for the role of dad. The drama escalates, and you won't believe what's coming up next.
Ms. Beckley, you are in court today to prove Mr. Allen is the biological father of your 1-year-old daughter, Idale Beckley.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say Mr. Allen has only seen his daughter one time since she has been born, and you want him to take responsibility starting today.
Mr. Allen, on the defensive, isn't ready to claim the Dad of the Year mug just yet. He's got his doubts, citing a plot twist in the conception timeline and their love story that's seen more offs and ons than a light switch. Their roller coaster romance, featuring a breakup and a makeup that led to a night without a script, has him questioning the paternity credits. Strap in, because the next revelation is going to shake things up even more.
The time of conception made me have strong doubts that the child is not mine.
So where was your relationship? What was the nature of your relationship during the time when Idale was conceived?
Well, me and Ms. Beckley had separated. We were co-parenting. We were still good friends.
That's not true. On Germany's 2nd birthday, he wasn't staying with me, but he ended up coming back on her birthday. We had sex, unprotected.
It wasn't baby making sex. It was angry sex.
It's not about baby making sex. Sex is sex.
It was angry sex.
Sex is sex. Whether it's baby making, love making, hate making, sex is sex, and she's still here as a baby. It don't matter what type of sex it was unprotected.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any wilder, Ms. Beckley isn't here to play minor league. She brings out the big guns, evidence that Mr. Allen has been signing autographs as dad for their other kids, but suddenly lost his pen for Idale. She's shining a spotlight on his missing acts, especially during Idale's dramatic entrance into the world via emergency C-section, where Mr. Allen was conspicuously absent, perhaps stuck in traffic on the way to the hospital, or maybe just on another planet. But wait, there's a twist you won't see coming.
I have evidence, Your Honor.
I'd like to see it.
He signed Germany's and Xavier's birth certificate. Hers is not signed.
So the first one is for Germany, Jacqueline, and Allen. Father's name's there. Second one, Xavier, Dantes, Tyrell, Jerome, Allen. Father's name is there.
Mr. Allen spins a tale of his heroic attempts to climb the Great Wall of Beckley to get a glimpse of his possibly mini-me, Idale. According to him, Ms. Beckley is the gatekeeper, deciding when and if he gets to bond with Idale, while she rolls out the red carpet for his visits with their other kiddos. It's like trying to get backstage passes from someone who enjoys watching you squirm. But the saga is far from over, as the next moment promises even more revelations.
But not spend time with or bond with Idale.
Well, Your Honor, I have questioned Shamia about Italy. You know, I asked, could I speak to her? She say no. You know, I asked when she come, well, while us having a visitation every other week, we have swap and exchange at a police station. She don't bring Italy. She don't make Italy a factor to my life.
As if the drama couldn't get any more intense, the judge, not buying popcorn for this drama, lays down the law to Mr. Allen, pointing out that maybe his hobby of expanding the family tree isn't the best move on a shoestring budget. It's a reality check that hits harder than a cold pizza, reminding him that it's not about the number of branches on the tree, but the quality of the shade they provide. And you thought it was over? Hold tight, because the climax is about to unfold.
And that's just the truth.
I work hard for every dollar to provide for my children. If that's the case, I wouldn't have my beautiful fiance with me. She know that I work hard as a man to provide for my children.
In a twist that would have you spilling your popcorn, the DNA drama unravels like the climax of a telenovela you can't stop watching.
When it comes to 1-year-old Idale Beckley, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Allen, you are the father.
Told you. You too, fiance. Stepmama. Stepmama.
The courtroom drama unfolds as Barlow v. Winslow kicks off, with the judge setting the scene for what feels like a daytime TV special rather than a legal proceeding. Mr. Barlow, convinced he's stumbled into a telenovela plot, disputes the paternity of Jabril, arguing the kid's lack of resemblance to his siblings suggests the landlord might be doing more than just collecting rent. Just when you think you've seen it all, the next revelation is ready to up the ante.
Mr. Barlow, you say your 8 kids look exactly like you, but the defendant's son, Jabril, looks nothing like you. And that's because you're not his father, and you know who is. Am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Why you doubt Jabril and who you believe his real father is?
Your Honor, I doubt these things due to the fact that during the time of Jabril's conception, I was away. You understand? And as I was away,
Your Honor, he was around enough for us to conceive. And
while I was away, I believe she was sleeping with the landlord.
You do?
Yeah.
And that's not possible, Your Honor. The landlord...
Why do you believe that? What evidence do you have? Did you hear something?
Nah, while I was away, I would call all the time because I got a long past of infidelity. Now, I go away.
I've never said that.
While I'm away, I'm calling and stuff. She says, yo, you calling me? He here.
As if the plot couldn't get any thicker, the judge probes into why the landlord seems to have a key to more than just their apartment, unraveling a web of suspicion and nosy neighbor vibes that has everyone questioning the nature of their own landlord-tenant relationships. And believe it or not, what comes next will have you on the edge of your seat.
You call at 10 and he's there.
Yeah,
The landlord's at the house at 10 p.m.
Yeah,
And you know why, Your
bids and
Honor?
stuff.
You know why,
Put
Your
together
Honor?
bids.
You won't believe your ears, but in a dramatic turn of events, Ms. Winslow, teetering on the edge of despair, floats a theory straight out of a hospital drama. Jabril was switched at birth. The courtroom becomes a sea of open mouths and whispered theories, as everyone suddenly turns into amateur detectives. If you thought that was shocking, just wait until you hear what's coming next.
You say you feel like the baby doesn't look like you.
Man, he look like this dude. Only reason I can't tell you that they got the same hair color because he bald head.
My son obviously has African-American features. However, he doesn't look like me or Mr. Barlow.
So what you're saying is your son is very fair-skinned.
Like,
oh, he's a
good question,
beautiful
Will.
little boy.
Yeah, that's...
And so you feel like when you look at him, though, you don't see any resemblance.
Nah, he ain't me.
He doesn't look like me or Mr. Barlow. So now that leads me to believe the only way that this baby is not this man's child is if he's not mine.
As the anticipation builds up like the climax of a thriller movie after what feels like an eternity or just an ad break, the judge returns wielding maternity test results like a plot twist in a season finale, confirming Ms. Winslow is Jabril's biological mom. The collective sigh of relief is almost loud enough to drown out the judge's words. Just when you think you've caught your breath, the narrative takes another dive.
You've claimed this child could have been switched at birth.
Yes, Your Honor.
So I needed to go back to my chambers. I needed to do some research. I needed to look through the results. I had to find the maternity portion of the results so that I could confirm whether or not you are in fact Jabril's mother. That the probability of maternity is 99.9999%.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's all I needed to hear, Your Honor.
And I can see you're truly relieved.
The tension escalates again, setting the stage for another bombshell. Just when you think it's all over, the paternity test results drop like the bass at a rave.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Barlow, you are the father.
Thank you.
So the bottom line is you are the mother and you are the father.
Miss Robinson goes Hail Mary pass, throwing a DNA test into the mix to save her relationship, banking on proving Mr. Parker's the dad to their almost 2-year-old, who's already showing a fondness for long naps and jazz music, just like him. Just when you think it can't get more intense, brace yourself for what's coming.
Ms. Robinson, you're here desperately trying to save your relationship. You've petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove to the defendant, Mr. Parker, that he is the father of your 23-month-old daughter, Tanila.
Mr. Parker, on the other hand, raises an eyebrow or two at the fatherhood claim, thanks to Miss Robinson's ninja-level secrecy about the pregnancy and the fact that he didn't get to meet their daughter until she was practically applying for college. But wait, the plot thickens even more in the next segment.
You put your wedding on hold because you're positive you are not the father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Not only did Ms. Robinson hide the pregnancy, she didn't tell you about Tanila until she was 5 months old.
Amidst the tension, there's an odd sense of unity as both parties eagerly await the mailman each day, turning it into a sort of bizarre family bonding activity. Who knew that a DNA test could bring people closer, or at the very least, make them equally nervous? Brace yourselves. The plot thickens in the next scene.
Tanala really means the world to me. She's my everything. She's the reason why I get up every morning to go work and go do something in my life. I also love Miss Robinson as well, but I refuse to continue this relationship if they're just lies.
So has there been a lot of lies, Ms. Robinson?
Miss Robinson admits to lies and infidelity during the time of conception, introducing the possibility of another father, which surprises Mr. Parker and escalates the conflict. In a dramatic turn, Mr. Parker's jaw drops so low you'd think it was trying to escape the awkwardness. The room's tension could slice through a block of cheese, and somewhere in the background, a reality TV producer is taking notes for their next big hit. You won't believe what comes next.
It have been a lot of lies. He didn't know around the time that I have pregnant that I was seeing someone else. That's where the possibility come from that Tanala might not be his.
A confrontation arises from past infidelities and the lack of communication, highlighting the complexity of their relationship and the emotional stakes involved. The air is so thick with accusations and regrets, you could cut it with a spoon. Mr. Parker, trying to keep his cool, looks like he's solving a Rubik's Cube blindfolded, utterly confused and mildly impressed with the mess. Meanwhile, Miss Robinson's revelations start to pile up like a Black Friday sale at a confession booth, and just when you think you've seen it all, the next moment will leave you speechless.
I sat there and saw you with another guy holding hands at a park.
Okay, but when you see me, why didn't you say nothing to me then?
Because why did you cheat?
When she was
why
5
did you
months
cheat?
and I came to you and I told you that she might be yours, you could have got the DNA test then, but you want to wait almost 2 years to get a DNA test.
I mean, I feel like, why, where were you at during those other 5 months?
You ain't tell me that you postponed our wedding.
I mean, you should know that, though.
Despite being pregnant, Miss Robinson chooses not to inform Mr. Parker, instead involving another individual during her pregnancy, which she later regrets and finds difficult to explain. It's as if she's trying to play a game of Who's the Daddy without any of the contestants knowing they're playing. Spoiler alert, nobody wins the grand prize in this game show, and you won't believe where the story goes from here.
So when you first found out you were pregnant, did you contact Mr. Parker at all?
During my pregnancy, Your Honor, no, I have not.
You didn't?
No.
Were you with anybody else during that time?
Yes, Your Honor, I was.
Did you tell that guy you were pregnant?
When I confirmed my pregnancy, Your Honor, yes, I have told him, but I did not inform Mr. Parker that I was pregnant.
Didn't you tell Mr. Parker? I don't understand.
I was nervous, Your Honor. I was going through my pregnancy hormones. I was nervous. I didn't know how to go about coming to him. Bad news.
What bad news?
That I was sleeping around with someone else.
Oh, that you were sleeping with someone else.
Yeah.
And that still hurt me to the day.
Did you tell the other guy Mr. Parker could also be the father?
No, Your Honor.
Did you tell the other guy that he was the father?
Yes, Your Honor.
You did? Oh, you told the other guy from the park holding hands, you're the father.
Yes, Your Honor.
You told him that he was the father? Are you serious? I thought you told me I was the dad.
I have.
So am I the father or not?
A revelation occurs when Miss Robinson admits to telling both men they could be the father, leading to confusion and further questioning of her honesty and decision-making. It's like she accidentally signed up for a reality TV show called Father Mystery, where the final episode involves a dramatic paternity test reveal. Grab your popcorn, folks. This is going to be a bumpy ride, but just when you think it can't get any crazier, hold on for the next part.
You didn't tell Mr. Parker he was the father until Tanila was 5 months old.
Yes, Your Honor.
Who was at the hospital then when Tanila was born?
Not me.
Me and the other guy had came just that one time.
Crazy. I could have been there. If that's my
So
baby,
the other
I could have been
guy
there
came to the hospital.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did the other guy sign the birth certificate?
Yes, Your Honor.
What? Are you serious?
I didn't know how to tell you.
Are you serious? A birth certificate? This guy that's probably not be his child sign a birth certificate, and that could be my baby?
Yes.
The DNA test results slide out of the envelope like a slow-motion scene from a dramatic movie. Mr. Parker, standing with bated breath, his eyes wide with anticipation. The room is silent. Everyone's gaze fixed on the piece of paper that holds the answer to the burning question.
Pertaining to 23-month-old Nyla, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Parker, you are not Tanila's father.
Oh my God.
Woo!
I'm sorry.
Sis!
I'm sorry.
Like a whole year wasted, man.
The plaintiff, having previously aced the court drama that proved the defendant's 1-year-old daughter is definitely not his +1 in the family tree, now raises his eyebrows and maybe his blood pressure over the paternity of her 5-month-old son, Ace. With the skepticism of a detective in a telenovela, challenges the results of a prenatal paternity test that pegs him as the father and seeks to reopen the case for a redo. Imagine that. Courtroom deja vu. The defendant, on the other hand, is as confident as a cat with a canary, sure that the plaintiff is Ace's dad, and aims to stick that landing. Just wait. It escalates from here.
You previously appeared in court when you proved that the defendant's 1-year-old daughter was not your child. You are now here questioning the paternity of the defendant's 5-month-old son, Ace. You previously received results from a prenatal paternity test which stated you are the father. You are here petitioning the court to reopen your case and order a paternity test now that Ace is born.
In a twist that would make soap opera writers nod in approval, the discussion unveils that post-hospital drama. The defendant pulled a sneaky on the birth certificate, erasing the plaintiff's name as if it was written in pencil and scribbling Mr. Haynes' name instead. This plot twist complicates the paternity issue like a season finale cliffhanger, raising questions about the defendant's intentions and leaving the plaintiff to ponder his role in Ace's life, possibly while dramatic music plays in the background. Brace yourself. The revelations ahead are even more jaw-dropping.
I feel like...
Why don't you believe it?
Because if that was the case, Your Honor, when I was in the hospital when she gave birth to Ace, she had put my name on the birth certificate, removed my name off the birth certificate just to put Mr.
Reason of that being
is
I asked
So
him.
wait a minute now. She took your name off the birth certificate?
Yes.
And you put Mr. Haynes' name on
the
Ace's
same
birth
day
certificate?
after I left out of the hospital, after she had already put my name on the birth
Your
certificate.
Honor.
The plaintiff feels no connection to Ace, attributing this lack of bond to his unresolved issues with the defendant and the unsettling circumstances surrounding Ace's paternity and birth certificate. He jests that he's more emotionally attached to his fantasy football team, which, unlike Ace, has never questioned his commitment. Stay tuned, because what comes next is even more jaw-dropping.
It was before. I just feel no connection
No
at all.
connection.
So
Like a
when you
baby's
went
supposed to
back
talk
home
back.
with the baby, you just felt like you felt absolutely no connection.
Yes, Your
And
Honor.
that troubled you.
A lot.
And then the doubts you had just kept building.
Yes, Your Honor.
And what else was happening?
Me and Miss Malone, we had went our separate ways.
You did.
And yes,
Yes, Your Honor.
The episode delves into the plaintiff's alleged infidelity, which further deteriorates trust between him and the defendant. This backstory provides context for their strained relationship and the plaintiff's paternity doubts, leading the defendant to quip that she was more likely to find loyalty in a stray dog than in her relationship. The twists keep coming. Don't miss what's up next.
So she asked me, go ask your man.
Oh, really?
Yes, Your Honor. So,
She was
with
just
no
saying
questions, I
somebody
packed
that
his
I could
clothes,
talk
threw
to.
him down the stairs. He wakes up, asks me what I'm doing. I told him he was cheating.
And did he admit to it?
He denied it, like he is now.
Because I was not cheating at all.
Mason, you here saying you don't trust the results?
Despite having no new evidence to challenge the prenatal test accuracy, the judge decides to further educate the plaintiff on the testing process to eliminate any doubts, demonstrating the court's commitment to resolving paternity issues comprehensively. The judge humorously suggests that maybe they should also include a crash course in basic empathy and relationship skills, given the circus this courtroom has turned into. You won't believe what's in store. The next segment is a game changer.
As a woman, I've practiced law for over 2 decades. I have every reason to throw this case out because you have not presented any evidence here today that would suggest something was wrong with that prenatal test we've previously performed, which determined that you were the father. I should throw it out. I do understand how you can't trust the result. I don't want you to leave this courtroom with any lingering doubt.
In a plot twist worthy of a daytime soap opera, the latest paternity test results are in, and lo and behold,
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Mason, you are the father. Again.
So, you need to just start taking care of your son.
And I'm
Start
going
bonding
the
with your
same-
son.
The same way I do with the other two.
To that.
That means my name's
And I'll
got to
hold
go
you
on
to
that
that.
birth certificate and his name's coming off.
Ms. Rainey opens the case by requesting 2 paternity tests and suing Mr. Matthews for half of the expenses for their children, Solly and Renaya, asserting Mr. Matthews refused to accept his responsibilities. She admits to sleeping with another man during the time of conception, but argues it was a result of Mr. Matthews' refusal to accept his responsibilities. In a plot twist that rivals a telenovela, Ms. Rainey adds that if responsibility was contagious, Mr. Matthews would still be in quarantine. The drama escalates further, and you won't believe what's coming next. Brace yourself, because what's up next is even more jaw-dropping.
You are here today requesting 2 paternity tests and suing the man you say is father of your children. You admit that you slept with one other man during the time of conception, but you argue that was only because Mr. Matthews refused to accept his responsibilities.
Yes.
To that end, you are also suing Mr. Matthews for $4,663.50, his half of the expenses.
A heated discussion ensues about the naming of Ms. Rainey's son, Silah, after another man. Ms. Rainey explains she was following Mr. Matthews' suggestion, highlighting the confusion and emotional turmoil surrounding the paternity of her children. She quips that she considered naming a pet goldfish after him, but thought it might be too big of a commitment for Mr. Matthews to handle. And just when you think you've heard it all, the courtroom is about to be shaken up even more. Just when you think it can't get any wilder, the next moment proves you wrong.
Claim you have every reason to doubt you are the father of Ms. Rainey's children. You say she is known to be promiscuous and even named her son after another man.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why did you name your son after another man?
He told me to.
Yeah.
He told you to.
And the reason is, when I found out I was pregnant, I told him and the other person that
That you
it was
was living
between both of them.
No.
With anybody else during the time of
I
conception?
slept with him and Rondell.
Judge Lake probes the dynamics of Ms. Rainey and Mr. Matthews' relationship over the past 8 years, questioning Mr. Matthews' negative view of Ms. Rainey despite their long-term relationship. Mr. Matthews dismisses the significance of their relationship, stating he has been involved with many women without forming emotional attachments. He then suggests they could have avoided all this drama if they had just used a more reliable method of decision-making, like rock, paper, scissors. The stakes are high, and the next revelation is guaranteed to leave you on the edge of your seat. The drama is far from over, and what comes next will surely astonish you.
Mr. Matthews, why you have such a negative opinion of Ms. Rainey? And she's making this point, and I have to agree, that you have had a relationship with some type of relationship for over 8 years. I mean, we're not talking about 8 months, 8 weeks, 8 years.
And they don't mean nothing. She don't stand a chance. Baby daddy was paying for her.
My baby daddy didn't pay for nothing. What? Anything I ever had, I paid for.
Ms. Rainey shares her struggles and the emotional pain of dealing with Mr. Matthews' behavior and the impact it has on her and her children. She expresses a strong desire to break the cycle of absentee fathers and seeks acknowledgement and support from Mr. Matthews for their children. In a surprising twist, she also reveals her plan to start a blog called Diary of a Mad Single Mom, aiming to go viral and maybe even catch Oprah's attention. Ms. Rainey humorously suggests they could use a family appearance on a daytime talk show to sort out their issues because, as she puts it, nothing says family bonding like airing your dirty laundry on national TV. She then half-jokingly proposes a superhero-themed intervention for Mr. Matthews, envisioning him as Captain Presence, a hero who actually shows up for his kids. Lastly, she muses about creating an app that tracks absent fathers, humorously naming it Daddar, ensuring Mr. Matthews would never have an excuse for missing a school play or a soccer game again. Just when you thought it couldn't get more intriguing, the next revelation is just around the corner.
You stand here, you're very strong, you're opinionated, I can do this, I got my own life, I'm equal. With a man that treats you this way for over 8 years, that don't add up to me. That's not what a strong woman does.
But I don't want to be with him because he can't respect me as not only the child, his kid's mother, but as his Muslim sister, as a friend, as a woman, period. I done dealt with him off and on.
In a courtroom twist that feels like it's straight out of a daytime TV drama, the DNA test results are in.
When it comes to Renaya Matthews, Mr. Matthews, you are indeed her father. And this is the child where you feel like you have the most doubt. Mr. Matthews, you are his father.
As the courtroom drama unfolds, we're not just talking about a run-of-the-mill paternity case. This is more like the Super Bowl of baby daddy disputes, complete with dramatic pauses and eye-rolling worthy of an Oscar nomination. Ms. Miller, armed with a stack of paternity tests and a fiery determination that could melt the bench, is ready to turn the courtroom into her personal stage. Scotty, on the other hand, seems more lost than a GPS signal in a tunnel, scratching his head as if the answer to the paternity question might magically fall out. The tension is thicker than the plot of a soap opera, setting up an episode that promises more twists and turns than a pretzel factory.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is the case of Miller versus Rasmussen.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Ms. Miller, you're here to prove to your ex-boyfriend, Scotty Rasmussen, that he is not the father.
Scotty Rasmussen's epic trek of 160 miles every other weekend to hang out with Zaley isn't just a road trip, it's a mission. Powered by sheer determination and possibly too much gas station coffee, Scotty braves this journey, wallet crying and car groaning, all to prove his commitment. He views each mile not as a burden, but as a testament to his unshakable belief in his role in Zaley's life, no matter what Miller throws his way. It's like he's starring in his own buddy movie, where the plot revolves around beating the odds, dodging Miller's curveballs, and maybe even finding a decent radio station along the way.
Your Honor, I believe it's just out of pure hatred. She just doesn't want me to have visitation. I drive 160 miles every other weekend just to pick up my daughter and drop her off. That's about 10,000 miles. That's wear and tear on my car. She doesn't have a driver's license. She doesn't have any way to bring her to me. She doesn't.
Their squabble unfolds like a soap opera, with more drama than a reality TV show marathon. Miller throws accusations like confetti at a parade, suggesting Rasmussen's interest in visitation rights is less about fatherly love and more about tax breaks. Rasmussen, on the other hand, denies these claims with the kind of fervor usually reserved for defending the last slice of pizza at a party. Amidst this clash of wills, it's clear their ability to communicate effectively is as broken as a smartphone screen after a night out. This not only highlights the depth of their discord, but also adds a layer of tragicomic relief to the otherwise grim reality of their situation.
You say she hates you? Why does she?
She hates me because at the end of the relationship, when things got rocky, I'll admit it, I did go to another woman. I'll be the first to admit that. You know, it was my mistake.
Is that true, Ms. Miller?
No.
It's not?
No.
Tell me
not at
what
all.
you believe to be true in this situation.
Yes, I was very mad at him for being a cheater. He cheated on me through pretty much our whole relationship. No, I do not hate him because of that. I lost my respect for him, yes.
He says this is about visitation, too. He loves his daughter, but you don't want him to have the visitation. Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
Miller throws a curveball in the paternity debate, suggesting Rasmussen might have been teleporting when Zaley was conceived because according to his calendar, he was in a completely different state. Rasmussen, on the flip side, swears he could have won an award for the most excited to be a dad at Zaley's birth, showcasing not just his emotional investment, but also his potential for setting world records and enthusiasm. Amidst the drama, he jokes about needing to check if he accidentally discovered teleportation, adding a lighthearted twist to his argument. As the dispute heats up, they both seem to forget the most important spectator, their dog, who's been eyeing them suspiciously, probably wondering if any of this will affect his dinner time.
Because I still believe that he's not hers.
Okay, and listen, that's what we're here for. I want to get down to the bottom of the truth. You don't believe he's her biological father?
Yes, Your Honor.
So explain to me why.
When she was conceived in March 2011. He wasn't even in the same state. He was in Vegas. And at that time in March, I wasn't even with him. I was with somebody else because he broke up with me because he cheated on me.
But clearly at some point, Mr. Rasmussen either thought or was informed that he was her biological father because he is paying child support, he's still driving 160 miles each way, and she has his last name.
The big moment hits when the DNA test results drop, and surprise, surprise.
When it comes to 3-year-old Zaley Rasmussen, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Rasmussen, you are not the father.
Be respectful.
I'm sorry.
Miss Miller.
I'm sorry.
That's a lot of nerve considering the alternative is somebody that don't want nothing to do with you or your child.
I'm sorry.
That's a lot of nerve. You just showed me where your priorities were right there, because I held out hope.
Mr. Monaire asserts he spent 5 years in prison for failing to pay child support for a child, Dylan, whose paternity was never proven. Miss Sear claims to have proof that Mr. Monaire is Dylan's father, arguing that she's here to stop him from evading his responsibilities. The court hears about their past, a one-night stand that led to the alleged paternity. In a twist straight out of a daytime TV drama, Mr. Monaire insists the only thing he's guilty of is having a bad memory for names and faces, claiming he can't even remember what he had for breakfast, let alone a fling from years ago.
That he's the father of your son Dylan.
Possibility. I didn't find out anything about the child until I was served with papers in 1995. On the other side of the state, I was indigent. I was living at my mom's, didn't have a job at the time, so I didn't show up for court, and I was named the natural father by default. That came 3 years later after I still didn't pay child support, still unable to pay. I still had doubt. I've never, to this day, thank God for your never know for sure whether or not I was the natural father. Never. I couldn't show up for court.
Why?
There's a lot of people.
I got there.
Well, you live in the same town. I got a record years in my calculation. And then I went to prison for 5 years. When I got out of prison in 2000.
The conversation shifts to the legal consequences Mr. Monaire faced due to his absence at a court hearing, leading to his default paternity declaration and subsequent criminal charges for failing to pay child support. Mr. Monaire shares the hardships of being imprisoned and questions the existence of any DNA evidence linking him to Dylan. He humorously notes that the only DNA he's sure of is that he's 100% done with this situation, wondering if there's a genetic marker for bad luck in courtrooms.
I'm not here to win any Father of the Year awards, believe me.
You wouldn't get it.
But I'm here to say that, in today's society, I think it's cruel and unusual punishment to be sentenced to 5 years in prison. Back in 1995, or better yet, in court when I was going to be sentenced to prison, things could have been a whole lot different. I would have embraced. I guarantee you there's thousands.
You understand that now, that in this country, you got to show up. If you got to walk there,
right,
you need to be there. And then you plead guilty.
For every American.
Mr. Monaire discusses the cruelty of his sentence compared to other crimes, highlighting the severity of his punishment for what he sees as a minor offense. The discussion also touches on the legal system's expectations for individuals to appear in court, irrespective of their circumstances. He jests about starting a support group for those wrongfully declared as parents, proposing they call it Not the Daddy. He imagines the group's motto, "You are not the father, but you still have to pay."
The pain that you've endured because
my stubbornness.
Thank you.
Yeah,
you are a living example of that. So now as you're being hauled off to court, you're still adamant and you're saying, I'm not the father of this child.
I'm saying I've never been proven to be the father of this child.
Miss Sear comes forward with what she claims is the smoking gun, proving Mr. Manair is the father, but Mr. Manair isn't buying it. He's convinced she's got friends in low lab places, making the evidence as fishy as a tuna sandwich left out in the sun. The judge, donning her detective hat, sifts through the evidence, finding more holes in the story than in a block of Swiss cheese, especially about how Mr. Manair's DNA sample was collected. Apparently, not with a cotton swab, but with a magic wand, judging by the lack of clarity.
Who's to say it was my sample? Maybe they got it mixed up with John Smith down the street, you know?
Clearly states that there was a laboratory test performed. I see here.
I don't think it happened. I think she worked in the lab and that she's had this thing.
Had nothing to do with DNA.
I'm sure that, you know, when you're in a business, you know other people
Now,
that's in the business.
what's interesting to me is that as I go through this evidence and I get to...
Cue the dramatic courtroom music as new DNA testing takes the stage, courtesy of the court's no-nonsense approach. This isn't just any test, it's the kind you can't argue with, sealed tighter than a jar of pickles, ensuring that the only thing being tampered with is everyone's patience. Both parties roll up their sleeves, ready to spit in a tube or whatever it takes to end this episode of Who's Your Daddy once and for all, with hopes that the truth will be less confusing than assembling furniture without instructions.
It's entirely blank, meaning
Imagine that.
there is no social security number.
That's right.
There is no address that you didn't show up, you weren't there for this particular test. It's
You're
true,
right.
because there's no evidence that you were there on that
exactly
day,
right.
which they claim was you.
The date of May when they put on there underneath the Ascension number, that is when they pulled a sample out of the freezer.
The tension could be cut with a butter knife as family secrets start spilling like beans at a clumsy cookout. Mr. Maynard's son steps up, painting a picture of his dad that's part superhero, part bedtime storyteller, making everyone else look like they're competing for second place in the Dad Olympics. Meanwhile, Dylan, on the sidelines, shares a bond with Mr. Manair. That's as close as Pluto is to being a planet again. Technically there, but not really feeling it. The courtroom holds its breath, waiting for the DNA results to drop like the season finale cliffhanger nobody's ready for.
Absolutely. Been a great father to me. We've had our ups and downs as a father-son relationship should be, but
we're best friends.
We really are.
We're best friends.
Yeah, I've felt he was my brother since I met him.
So you've seen your father treat Dylan well?
Yeah. I've been withdrawn. I've been distant, but that's because of the doubt.
I feel I don't know him that well.
We don't know each other.
Go ahead, son.
I love Chris though. We've spent a lot of time together.
Your brother.
Met
Would
my
you
little
like
brother.
to have a relationship with Mr. Manser?
I'm not really sure.
In a courtroom packed with the suspense of a season finale, the judge, with the dramatic flair of a reality TV host, drops the bombshell.
As it pertains to 20-year-old Dylan Sear, Mr. Manser, you are not
Oh, God.
his father.
Oh, man. 5 years in prison. Dylan, I'm sorry, bro. This is why. I did what I did.
But this is
and acted-
nothing I made up. The lab did
You
it.
made it all up. You
No,
made
I
those-
did not.
Well, those results apparently
I don't know
are made
any
up.
of those.
Mrs. Johnson, on a mission to glue her marriage back together with the might of a high-stakes paternity test, finds herself in a dramatic showdown against Ms. Davis, whose claims of an affair with Mr. Johnson have sparked the ultimate family feud. Ms. Davis, armed with confidence and a story that could rival any daytime soap opera, insists her romantic escapades with Mr. Johnson are not just tales spun from thin air, but have led to her current state of motherhood. The air thickens with drama as each woman stakes her claim, turning the courtroom into a battlefield where only the truth can triumph and the future of a family hangs in the balance. Just when you think you've seen it all, the narrative takes a turn that promises even more intrigue.
You and your husband have been together for 5 years. You are in court to save your marriage by proving to the defendant that your husband is not biological father of her 13-month-old twins, Christian and Christiana.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Davis, you contend that you had a sexual relationship with the plaintiff's husband and say that led to your pregnancy and birth of your twins. Is that correct? Ms. Johnson, you say you are Mr. Johnson's mother and you contacted the court hoping to bring closure to this ongoing DNA drama. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
In the eye of this storm stands Mr. Johnson, a man torn between the woman he vowed to spend his life with and the mother of children who might be his. Plagued by doubt and the fear of a future unknown, his once steady resolve is now as wobbly as a table with one short leg. This isn't just a spat over who forgot to take out the trash. It's a full-blown crisis that's putting his marriage on the emotional equivalent of a roller coaster that nobody wanted to ride. Brace yourself. What comes next might just redefine the meaning of a plot twist.
I just feel like we'll have a lot more closure if I go ahead and find out if they're mine or not.
So you admit you're a married man and you're torn between 2 women now.
Now, I'm not gonna say now because me and Miss Davis don't have any more dealings.
But she's still wreaking havoc on your relationship.
I'm not gonna necessarily say that, but
What are you gonna say?
I'm gonna say, being that I don't know for sure if the kids are mine, yeah, that's causing havoc.
As the plot thickens and twists, more than a pretzel at a state fair, the tale of Mr. Johnson, Mrs. Johnson, and Ms. Davis unfolds, revealing a tangled web that would give a spider a headache. The unexpected plot twist comes when Ms. Davis, amidst the legal tango, confesses her past with Mr. Johnson, yet casts a shadow of doubt over the twins' paternity. A serendipitous, or perhaps meticulously planned by fate, encounter at the doctor's office between Mrs. Johnson and Ms. Davis not only adds fuel to the fire, but also serves as the perfect recipe for disaster, setting the stage for a showdown that could rival the intensity of Finding Out. Your favorite TV show has been canceled after a cliffhanger season finale. The stage is set for an explosive revelation that promises to shatter expectations and leave audiences gasping for more.
So tell me about your relationship with Mr. Johnson.
Somebody introduced me to him.
Okay.
So we was together for a little while, you know what I'm saying?
Did you know he was in a relationship with Miss Johnson?
No, not really until like a couple years, probably like a year or so. I seen the little married pictures on Facebook or whatever. So I like, so when this come about, you know?
Did you confront him about, are you married?
No, I ain't confronting him, but you know, I asked him about it because it ain't my concern because you ain't my man, you know? We'll get the papers and we can go from there. I got the papers.
Oh, you told him to get the papers as in divorce papers?
Yeah.
And if he really wanted to be with you, then you would let him be with you?
Yeah, we can go for there, you know, talk about it, whatever. But see, it's another lady involved too. Yeah.
Oh, well, since she's not in court, we'll just leave that one alone.
Yeah.
We got enough to deal with in here.
Yeah. No, I still have a relationship with his mom. You know, I talk to his mama all the time.
So you told his mother?
Yeah.
I'm pregnant.
But I said I don't think they hid.
Just when you think you've seen it all, a twist that sounds more like a plot from a daytime TV drama than a courtroom case emerges. The judge finds himself navigating through the soap opera-esque revelation that the twins might just have different dads. It's a Maury moment that no one saw coming, complete with a courtroom audience silently mouthing, "Oh snap," as the gavel hits the sound block. The legal eagles in the room can't help but exchange looks that say, "This is going to be one for the books," as they scribble notes, wondering how this genetic curveball will play out in their legal arguments. And if you think that's shocking, just wait until you hear what's next.
She wanted to play the wife role. She even asked my mother-in-law, can you go to her house and get BJ clothes? Never was gonna happen. The day that another woman come to my house for my husband clothes, that would be the day. He's not going anywhere. I'm not going nowhere.
Excuse me,
We're
Your Honor, he
told
me to go get his clothes.
It don't matter who he's with.
Don't do that,
baby.
baby.
Now, I'm not going nowhere. So
it don't matter. I don't care
So
about
wait
that.
a minute.
You
Wait a minute, Miss
You the one
Davis.
looking stupid, not me, baby.
Wait a
no,
minute.
I'm not looking stupid. I'm the wife. You the one who's going back and forth
No,
with
baby,
BJ.
because I did.
Hold
You
on.
didn't
I'm not
bend
going
over with,
nowhere.
honey.
Not going nowhere.
Lady, Mr. Johnson was texting you just
not too long ago. I
My
want to
husband
come
don't have a
home
phone.
and this and that.
saying, I want to come home.
Yeah.
How long ago
I want to
was
come home. Like a month ago. Like
My
a month
husband don't have a
ago.
phone.
I went with the other lady.
I didn't even have a phone.
Like a month
You don't
ago
have a
before you just
phone.
then went with the other lady.
It wasn't a month ago.
Yes, it was.
It been way more than a month ago. I'd say maybe at least 3 months ago when she heard from me.
Now, Dr. Jackie, the OBGYN with the unenviable task of explaining how a woman can conceive twins with different fathers, a phenomenon known as superfecundation. As she breaks down the science, it's clear she's done this more times than she'd like to admit. Her delivery is smooth as a seasoned stand-up comics punchline.
It is something in medicine we call superfecundation, or basically saying female will ovulate more than one egg in that one ovulatory cycle. So should a female ovulate one or more eggs in that cycle, and she has one or more partners, certainly you can have a set of twins with 2 different fathers.
And Ms. Davis, you did testify. You were very honest about the fact that it is very possible that you slept with Mr. Johnson one day, and then a couple days later also had sex with your ex.
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you tell us what the odds are? What are we looking at here? Is this something that's close to a miracle, or is this something that is more common than we are informed about?
What they've found is, and there's a lot about genetics now, is there is actually a gene where it typically follows the maternal line, but there are some women who will have that gene.
In a dramatic twist straight out of a daytime TV drama, the court drops the bombshell that Mr. Johnson is officially...
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Johnson, you are not the father. I will say this, Ms. Davis, you said Christiana is the one you believed was his.
Yes, Your Honor.
So that result didn't surprise you.
Not at all.
The next result reads as follows. It has been determined by this court. Mr. Johnson, you are not the father.
I'm fine.
In an unexpected twist that catches everyone off guard, the mother is here to prove the paternity of her 9-month-old son in an effort to save her relationship with the alleged father, Mr. James. She firmly believes that resolving the paternity issue will heal their relationship. Mr. James expresses his doubts about the paternity due to past infidelities, setting the stage for a complex case. As they stand there, you can't help but think that this is less Maury and more CSI Relationship Edition, where DNA tests meet daytime drama. Stay tuned, because the next revelation is something you won't want to miss.
Ms. Coward, you claim you're here today to determine the paternity of your 9-month-old son in an effort to save your relationship, his alleged father, Mr. James. Mr. James, you say Ms. Coward has cheated on you in the past, and you argue you not only have good reason to doubt paternity, but say you can no longer trust her at all.
Just when you thought relationships couldn't get more complicated, Mr. James recounts how their relationship started from casual observations within their apartment complex to giving her a ride and exchanging contacts. Despite initial disinterest from her, a chance encounter during a complex fight led to their first drink together, marking the beginning of their relationship. Their relationship evolved quickly from a casual to a committed one. It's like they went from "I barely know you" to "let's make a baby" faster than Mr. James can update his peculiar calendar. But just when you think you've seen it all, the plot thickens even more in the next clip.
You've been keeping track of
different women that I've slept with. Can't be too certain these days with somebody coming to tell you 16 years later you got a child. I got a calendar to say that I didn't have it.
Wow.
Sexual
so you have in your calendar the dates you were intimate with women?
Yes, ma'am, I
and
do.
Also a record of their monthly cycles?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
As the story unfolds in ways you wouldn't believe, the couple disputes the dates of intimacy, with Mr. James presenting a calendar that excluded certain dates that Miss Coward insists were when they were intimated. This discrepancy raises questions about the accuracy of Mr. James's records and his trustworthiness. The disagreement over these dates adds tension to the case, emphasizing the uncertainty surrounding the child's paternity. At this point, it seems like the only thing they can agree on is disagreeing, making you wonder if the real mystery here is not who's the father, but how they managed to stay together this long. What's coming next is sure to add an even more dramatic twist to this already tangled tale.
Also, when we slept together again after she came off her menstrual cycle.
He didn't put all the dates on his calendar.
I put all the dates on there.
You didn't.
ANC, her initials.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so December 7th, December 13th, December 17th, January 16th.
Can you believe what unfolded? The episode delves into the tumultuous nature of their relationship, highlighting instances of infidelity and trust issues, sort of like a soap opera, but with less amnesia and evil twins. Mr. James's skepticism about the child's paternity is rooted in their rocky start and Ms. Coward's past actions, making him wonder if Maury Povich needs to be on speed dial. This segment underscores the deep-seated issues between them, complicating the paternity question and adding enough drama to fuel a reality TV show marathon. Just when you think it can't get any more complicated, the next part adds another layer of intrigue.
Seen him on his birthday. He picked me up from the grocery store.
I have no recollection of that, but
Just
I'm
like
the one that keeps the calendar.
He has no recollection
of the
You didn't
put grocery store on your calendar?
No, ma'am, I did not. I put my customers on the calendar.
Mr. James?
Well, the grocery store is not that important.
You gotta add that in.
What's not more important than, sexual?
Hold on to your seats, here it comes. As the birth of their child approaches, Mr. James's doubts persist, leading him to decide not to sign the birth certificate without a DNA test, because apparently he's not just dad material, he's dad material pending scientific confirmation. Despite his presence at the birth, his name ends up on the birth certificate, a fact that surprises him more than finding out the baby's first word is lawyer. This moment highlights the ongoing tension and mistrust even at significant life events, turning what should be a Hallmark movie scene into a suspense thriller. And trust me, the drama doesn't stop here. The next scene will leave you speechless.
I wanted to see it all the way through, and when he came out looking a spitting image of his mother, he looked every bit like his mother, I had my doubts started raising. But
as you look at Taj, do you see yourself? Do you think he looks like you?
No, ma'am, I don't.
You don't see any part of you in his features or anything?
No, ma'am, he looks just like his mother from his nose to his eyes.
The climax of the episode comes with the revelation of the DNA test results.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics when it comes to Taj James. Mr. James, you are the father.
Thank you. I told you.
Come on, you want to hug?
In the grand finale of the trials and tribulations of Mr. James and Ms. Coward, we find our protagonists standing in the eye of the storm, their courtroom drama reaching its peak. Just when you thought it couldn't get any more intense, the plot throws a curveball that would make a baseball player weep with envy. Meanwhile, in the jury box, a juror is caught smuggling in popcorn, turning the courtroom into his personal movie theater. And let's not forget the court stenographer who, amidst the chaos, starts writing her own fantasy novel, inspired by the dramatics unfolding before her.
I just hope this makes our relationship better.
How do you feel about that?
I'm happy, I'm ecstatic. I mean, like I said, I've been there for him from day one, and I love him a lot.
I hope you understand now that trust is a foundation.
So one night, Mr. Irvin turns into a super sneaks, because he's got this funny feeling about Miss Fonzie. He waits till she's snoozing and grabs her phone, only to find out she's been playing him. When he's like, "What's up with this?" She's all, "Yeah, I cheated. So what? You did it first." Boom, drama, bomb. Meanwhile, outside, there's this truck selling cheater churros and betrayal bites or something, making a killing off people munching away while watching their soap opera unfold live.
One day I couldn't sleep, so here it is, 4 in the morning. I seen her sleeping and her phone was right beside her. Some told me to just go through her phone. So I found out she spent the night at her friend's house with this other guy.
But I came to him and let him know that I cheated on him.
After he found out, she always going out with her friends. He could never
go out with his friends too.
Then, hold your horses, because Miss Fonzie goes all drama queen on us, saying her fling wasn't just a one-time oopsie, but a whole series of oopsies with some dude. Mr. Irvin's world spins like he's on a bad amusement park ride, and it hits him. They're both masters in the art of being sneaky snakes. The judge is like, y'all need to learn trust is worth more than gold, while an innocent little one is stuck in the middle of their circus act.
Just be honest if there's something else you haven't said. Were all of the times you had sex with this other gentleman protected? Did this sexual relationship extend on a little further than what
it wasn't
you are
no
saying?
further than November. It was all the time before Jordan called me cheat. When he called me cheat, I wasn't still talking to him.
You knew to block him, because you knew I was going to catch you every day.
You was right there when I blocked him. You want me to
you been texting him on your phone too?
You had females in the house also.
This ain't about me,
yes,
it's about
it is.
you.
You cheat on me, not cheating on you.
Listen, it doesn't matter. Miss Fonzie, we lose that game. We lose that. I don't understand when women are going to ever get this. We need a Facebook post about this.
Now, imagine we're flipping to the funniest part of a comedy show, where they're revealing who the kiddo's dad is, but it's all dramatic, like a game show finale.
The biological father is Mr. Winfield.
I knew it. I told you. I knew it wasn't his baby. When Mama went to the hospital and seen that baby, she knew it wasn't. My mama went to the hospital when she had that baby and said, "That is not my son's child."
Listen.
You wrong. You wrong. Just how I'm wrong.
You wanted to have a baby by him.
Because you cheated without protection.
The episode opens with introductions and an overview of the case, setting the stage for a roller coaster of emotions, paternity puzzles, and the occasional comedic relief when the judge can't help but smirk at the absurdity of the situation. Mr. Deggs is on pins and needles, hoping to be confirmed as the biological father of Jason, the 3-year-old son of his ex, Ms. Guerin. He claims Ms. Guerin initially told him he was the father, but then doubts crept in like unwanted party crashers when Jason was 6 months old, making him wonder if he should have asked for a paternity test or a crystal ball. You won't believe what happens next.
Mr. Deggs, you are here today hoping you are the biological father of the defendant's 3-year-old son, Jason. You have petitioned the court for paternity test because you claim your ex, Ms. Guerin, first led you to believe that you were Jace's dad, but when the baby was 6 months old, she confessed that you may not be the biological father. You say Jason is the most important thing in your life.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, Ms. Guerin admits to infidelity during their relationship, blaming her wanderlust on a lack of affection from Mr. Deggs. The tension escalates faster than a soap opera plot twist as both parties reveal their unfaithfulness and the dramatic impact it had on their relationship, turning the courtroom into a stage for their personal telenovela. But hold on, the next part is even more jaw-dropping.
He was never home. He was always...
I work, Your Honor. I work full-time to make sure
and
that
then
her nails...
and he left me in the apartment all the time with a roommate that he knew was attracted to me and wanted to be with me.
And so you did what? You're home and the best friend's home.
Well, we were drinking and he was showing interest in me, made me feel pretty, and was giving me everything at the time that Jason was not.
And that one day at work, he gave you everything Mr. Deggs never gave you?
No, I did not say that.
Ms. Guerin, did you regret it or you just felt like, I'm
Yes.
so glad he thinks I'm cute?
No, absolutely. I regretted it. It was awkward to know that I was from
But
my
you
boyfriend.
slept with my brother too.
Yes.
You slept with my
After.
best friend and my brother.
Please tell the
Twice
court.
the pain.
How did you end up with his brother too?
His brother, I was really young at the time. And
You keep talking about how young you were. If you were so young, you shouldn't have been sleeping with everybody.
As the plot thickens, we dive deeper into their troubled past. Both Mr. Deggs and Ms. Guerin share their desires for a family and the love they have for Jason, painting a picture of what could have been a perfect family portrait if it weren't for the infidelity, lack of trust, and communication breakdowns, making everyone wonder if they were aiming for a family or a reality TV show. The drama escalates in the next scene, so stay tuned.
He was paying me the attention that Jason was not.
Because I was at work.
I felt replaceable to Jason.
What did you want me to do?
I felt so yes, I did look for affection and everything I want in a relationship in somebody else.
I moved you in. You
somebody
paid
else.
nothing. You were taken care of.
You worked for
did.
the
You
newspaper.
moved out of your mom's. Yeah.
So you're
I
like
did work
barely
for the
making it in
newspaper,
an
but still.
apartment.
She's a hoe.
After he slept with, you two
slept
might
with
not
my
know
brother.
how
You're super
to
intelligent.
respect each other outside of the courtroom. We must remain respectful.
This next revelation will have you on the edge of your seat. The discussion shifts to the importance of Jason in their lives, with Mr. Deggs expressing his unwavering commitment to being a father figure, regardless of the DNA test's outcome, like a contestant in the most emotionally charged episode of Who's Your Daddy? Ms. Guerin, on the other hand, acknowledges her mistakes but emphasizes her belief in Mr. Deggs' potential as a father, suggesting a future co-parenting spin-off series. Brace yourself for the unexpected twists yet to come.
After you found out Ms. Guerin slept with your best friend and your brother, you were done with her.
No, Your Honor. I loved her that much that I wanted to work on it again.
Wow.
Because I loved her that much.
Because he knew he cheated from the gate.
No, because I loved
Yes?
you.
Okay.
I loved you.
Had you cheated?
Not until after. That's when I strayed. When you slept with my best friend and my brother is when I strayed.
That would not affect the paternity of the child we're talking about.
When I found out I was pregnant, we had a lot of problems at that time. We had already cheated on each other. And then I met somebody else, was taking care of me, and I ended up sleeping with him while I was with Jason.
When you give birth
Yes.
to the child, he was there.
Yes, he was there.
I cut forward. I've been there since day one, taking care of this baby and this woman. There. And then she has the nerve to wait.
Mr. Deggs, you thought this child was yours.
Something.
Yes, Your Honor, I sure did. Okay.
Do you understand why he
Your
was
Honor,
hurt, Ms. Guerin?
I'm not the only one that.
I had a rough
I know,
childhood,
but
Honor.
had to deal
but
with
you're
so
the
many
one,
different women.
But you're the one that's with a paternity issue regarding
Yes.
the child in question, and you're the one that slept with his brother and his best friend.
In a turn of events that feels straight out of a primetime drama, the emotional stakes are higher than the ratings of the show, as Mr. Deggs describes how his world revolves around Jason, with a love so deep it could rival the most passionate of love songs. The possibility of non-paternity hits him like a plot twist in a season finale, showcasing the deep bond he has formed with the child, amidst the backdrop of his roller coaster relationship with Ms. Guerin, proving that sometimes reality is stranger and more touching than fiction. And just when you think the emotional roller coaster has reached its peak, the courtroom drama takes another unexpected turn.
Of course.
I had a rough childhood.
Of course.
I wanted
just
to be
want
daddy.
to say that I did decide not to tell Jason right away because I did want the family. I did believe that Jason was going to be a great dad, and that
I
was
am a
something.
great dad. I'm a great dad right now.
How important is this baby to you?
The baby is the most important in my life the most important thing in my life that's ever been.
Take me to that day where, unfortunately, you got that bomb dropped on you.
I think we were in an argument, and out of nowhere she throws at me. Probably not even Jason, daddy of Jason anyway.
No,
I
did
crumbled
not
right
throw it
there,
at him
started
like
crying.
that. I would never
What?
do that.
You told me after this long that I'm not the daddy and we're in an argument? What is it? Am I the dad or am I not? How you gonna break my heart like that? I love that little boy, and I know what it's like not having a dad there.
This next chapter might as well be lifted from a critically acclaimed family drama. As Mr. Felton espouses his fatherly virtues, Mr. Deggs' inner turmoil escalates, his thoughts ping-ponging between concerns for Jason's well-being and the bewildering realization that he might actually miss Gerald's sarcastic commentary. The judge, meanwhile, continues to drop dad jokes with the finesse of a seasoned comedian, inadvertently sparking a debate among the court stenographers over which sitcom best represents their current predicament, Full House or Arrested Development. Stay tuned because the story storyline twists into even more unexpected realms next.
All right, in your statement to the court, you actually said that you've been the father to this child, even though there's no chance you're the biological father, but you're saying that you are the man that stepped up.
I do things that a father is supposed to.
Right.
I never try and take the place of his biological father. I'm not his biological father.
And what is it that you do for the child?
I take care of him. You know, when Megan's working, if I have the day off, then of course I'm taking care of him. If he needs to go to an appointment or something, make sure he gets there. It's fun to be around. Of course, he's a 3-year-old. He tests your patience sometimes, but I mean,
I know all about that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your testimony. What do you want from this, Ms. Guerin? Do you want Mr. Deggs to be the father?
For me right now, no, I do not want Jason to be the father because every weekend it's drama. Another girl.
Mr. Deggs, what do you want from today?
I want to be in Jason's life. I love Jason.
No, that's why
With
he
all
called
my heart
us
and
for the
soul.
last.
And if he is your son, are you willing?
Yes, of
in
course.
every way?
In every way.
Imagine a courtroom drama unfolding like a scene from a zany cartoon.
In the case of Deggs versus Guerin, when it comes to baby Jason, Mr. Deggs, you are not the father.
So that he could get whatever benefit he's getting out of it.
Benefit?
But honestly,
What
Your
benefit
Honor,
am I getting?
Wait.
Taking care of a 3-year-old child.
I am disgusted. You would perpetrate this lie on this man during your entire pregnancy up through a delivery room, let him cut the cord on a baby. I know you know good and well that wasn't his child. I could tell by the look on your face today. He was more nervous than you were.
The court session starts with Judge Judy's long-lost cousin, Judge Justice Judgy, banging the gavel and calling the case of Jones versus Houston to order. As both parties exchange glares that could freeze lava, we're primed for a saga that's less Romeo and Juliet and more Maury Povich meets the Kardashians, centered around paternity, young love gone awry, and who's gonna foot the bill for Baby Lyric's future rap career. You won't want to miss what happens after the commercial break.
Today's case is unfortunately another one of these cases about young love and pregnancy. Ms. Jones, you and your mother say you are tired of the defendant's denial. He's the biological father of your 6-month-old son, and once the DNA results prove your claim, you demand to be reimbursed for Baby Lyric's child care expenses.
Ms. Jones takes the stage, painting a picture of a love story that took a nosedive into a dramatic teenage soap opera, complete with immaturity, nosy in-laws, and a not-so-secret love triangle. The highlight reel of their relationship's downfall features a messy timeline of breakups, makeups, and accusations of cheating, turning the courtroom into the set of a reality TV show where everyone's ready to throw a chair or two. And just when you think you've seen it all, the next revelation is about to drop jaws even further.
Because she used to let my daughter use her phone, like, to play on. My daughter's, like, she's 15 now, but she would let her use the phone at my house, sitting on my couch, because she used to come
I
up-
never
she
let
came
no,
over to my
I
house
never
all the
let
time.
her daughter
And so
use
she would be in the
use
phone.
my phone. She
She would
used
bounce
my
the
phone.
Wi-Fi
I never
off,
got
whatever.
shit
So
on her
Hold on, one at a time.
my daughter would just ignore it. Well, all of a sudden she came to me and she said, "Mama, you wouldn't believe what came across Miss Jones's phone." And I was like, "What?" She said, "Look." And a gentleman said, "Did you have a good time last night?"
No, God never texts me.
Bottom line is you're denying their allegation that some man was texting you, some other boy. When you two were dating, were you dating anyone else?
No, I was with him. I was faithful to him.
So you broke up around prom, right before prom.
Ms. Jones shares that she waited until she was 8 months pregnant to inform Mr. Houston and his family about the child, fearing their reaction due to the tumultuous relationship. This moment highlights the complexities and emotional turmoil surrounding the pregnancy announcement. It's as if she was prepping for a surprise party where the surprise was a whole new human being and the RSVP was way overdue.
I told him when I was 8 months, because I had
told him when you were 8 months.
Yes.
Oh, my mom told
No,
my
she
mom.
called me on my phone.
Because he didn't have a
Called
phone
my
at the time,
mom.
Your Honor, because he didn't have a
her.
job. Your Honor, she's been disconnecting herself this whole time. She's like, that's between you and Nigel. That's between you and Nigel. So
Ms.
she
Houston,
doesn't.
have you stepped out of the picture? You said it was between her and your son?
Yes, ma'am, because it's so much drama going on. When you call somebody at 8 months pregnant and say, "Hey, I just found your number in my old phone, so hey, you guys are too much drama. I didn't want to tell you I was pregnant."
Oh, God, I was already treating her bad. Why would she tell you?
The court learns of Mr. Houston's new relationship with Ms. Hasty, who is also pregnant with his child. This revelation underscores the tangled web of relationships and responsibilities facing the young individuals involved. Mr. Houston, it seems, has been busier than a bee in spring, pollinating relationships left and right.
Yeah, she didn't tell me until she found out she was pregnant.
Yes, Your Honor, that's how it happened.
How the heck I'm gonna know she's
Facebook,
pregnant? How I
she
know
was
you was
6 weeks
dating her?
pregnant, all of a sudden the phone call came. Because you know these.
Yeah, so like
know
I
each
just
other.
psychologically.
And you 18
and
years
he's
old
dating her
with 2 girls pregnant at the same time.
Same time.
Well, if you would have known the first one, maybe he wouldn't have did the second one.
Oh well, if y'all wouldn't gone through all that drama, if y'all wasn't so drama,
you know
with all that
you're
drama,
right.
I would have told
That's why
y'all.
I'm reaching out.
They were the ones who would
One at a time. I can't hear you all when you're talking at the
That's
same
why
time.
I told my daughter to stop reaching out to Mr. Houston and his mother because she don't have enough to teach her son with respect anyway.
They're very
and to
disrespectful.
take care of his own.
They was
okay.
disrespectful the whole time.
So why would she want to deal with it?
Amidst the chaos, Ms. Jones's best friend comes forward with a diary that allegedly holds the truth about the paternity mystery. However, when opened in court, it's mostly filled with what seems to be a mix of dramatic teenage angst and cake recipes, further adding a layer of absurdity to the proceedings. The courtroom momentarily turns into a bizarre episode of MasterChef meets Judge Judy, leaving everyone slightly more confused, but oddly craving dessert.
When you were working, a co-worker told you something about Ms. Jones. Am I correct?
My manager did.
What did they say?
He seen Nigel come in and he said, is this the dude that dated Nakisha? And I said, yeah, that's him. And he was like, the dude told me and that's over there stalking, and he pointed him out to me and was like, told him that he was the father of her child.
How was I even supposed to cheat or anything when I was with him the whole time? So when did I ever have time to cheat? At
All
school,
the time
we went
why
to my
would the
house.
store manager just come out of the blue and say something like that?
I don't know.
Because she's doing
That's
what
what
she's
she's saying. That's all made up, ma'am. I was with him the whole time, so when did I ever have truth?
The judge delivers a stern lecture on responsibility, education, and the need for Mr. Houston to find employment to support his children, peppering his speech with anecdotes that are equal parts enlightening and embarrassing. He mentions that even his cat has a job, patrolling the house for unwelcome pests, which gets a few chuckles from the courtroom. This moment, while heavy on the life lessons, doesn't forget to sprinkle in humor, emphasizing the importance of guidance and accountability for young parents. The judge wraps up his monologue with a lighthearted warning that if Mr. Houston doesn't shape up, he might just enlist him in the court's new parenting boot camp, led by the judge's famously strict grandmother.
Close to $3,000, $2,000.
$2,819, ma'am.
Have you brought any evidence to support that? Jerome, can you hand me that, please? You've submitted to the court a list of receipts as well as the physical receipts for clothes, diapers, food, toiletries, toys, books, totaling $2,819 and furniture, crib, etc. Am I correct? You've not gotten one dime of support from Mr. Houston.
No, ma'am.
You admittedly haven't sent any money. Do you have a job?
No, I go to school.
What about after school? How in the world do you think you making babies in this world and don't have a job? Who's supposed to take care of them? Me?
No.
How do you think you cannot have a job?
What?
What?
I couldn't hear you.
It's called excuse me, ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am?
See, we're gonna get it right in here today. I don't know who's teaching you, but I'm gonna give you a lesson.
I'm teaching them.
Well, you're not, because when I say something, the answer's not what. The answer's not what.
Okay.
You didn't teach him.
In the case of Houston versus Jones, the DNA dance-off has ended with a definitive beat drop. Mr. Houston, you are the father of Little Lyric. The judge, donning a robe and a DJ's headset, dropped the gavel and laid down the verdict.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Houston, you are the father.
Boom! Yeah.
Miss Jones, don't act silly. Don't act silly in here. Don't do it. I know you feel somewhat vindicated. I realize that. But this is not a time to perform because this is not a joke. You 20 years old. Mr. Houston is 18 years old. You at 18 years old, you have a 6-month-old and a 6-week-old and no job. We must change this.